In this WrestleTalk news, Triple H's big plans for SummerSlam. Wrestlers now choosing WWE over AEW. AEW vs NXT round 48 and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos, so you know first when the next insane thing happens in wrestling. Dear God, when will it all stop? Make it stop, please, Hunter.
Support WrestleTalk!
Monday's episode of Raw wasn't just the go-home episode for this Saturday's biggest party of the summer, Summerfest. It was also the beginning of a new, long-awaited era for WWE. Vince McMahon has gently retired, resigned in utter disgrace, and Triple H has been named the new head of creative, and he started this new era, this hoped-for new dawn of WWE's golden age, one that he's been preparing for over the last decade of his career, by putting on pretty much the same type of show we've had all year. Wrestling Observer Radio have since explained why. It was the same episode that was largely written by Vince McMahon last week before he decided now was the right time for him to enjoy a well-earned rest away from the company. He was forced out of WWE kicking and screaming because of multiple accusations against him. McMahon had reportedly written the show on Thursday, and only a few changes were made to it since. But whether it was there explicitly in the episode on Monday or just our own heads, something did feel different in the air, and the potential of a new sunrise proved to be a big ratings draw, with Raw pulling in 1.9 million viewers, its highest number in a month. Although that could be down to a number of other factors, like Rey Mysterio's 20th birthday party. Boy, doesn't he look good for that age. The fact that it was the SummerSlam go-home show, or that WWE's biggest star, Roman Reigns, was going to appear on it. Nevertheless, WWE is ironically riding a wave of significantly increased interest in their product since the McMahon investigation news first broke, with SmackDown's viewing figure dramatically up too, potentially because of lapsed fans returning to see if the company they once followed is going to get good again. According to the very reliable WrestleVotes on Twitter, that might not have been on Monday's Raw because it's being saved for Saturday's Summerfest, posting, with SummerSlam being his first real show in total control, source says Triple H would like to make a creative splash at the event. However, only if it makes sense. Won't just do something to do it. How about that change of pace already? Creative Splash, title of your premium live event. Hope they wear Hawaiian shirts on commentary. What do you think Triple H could do to make his mark on WWE right away? Fantasy book yet another NXT invasion in the comments down below. The changes won't just be felt on screen though. The backstage atmosphere will apparently be overhauled too. Gone are the days of political backstabbing, crapping in people's sandwiches, waiting hours to see Vince in his office, and living in fear of your next sneeze, because Triple H has reportedly told talent he wants working in WWE to be fun. According to Fightful Select, Triple H had a meeting with talent backstage before Monday's episode of Raw, the first under his new regime of head of creative. That isn't the only role Hunter is going to fulfill, as he'll also be the executive vice president of talent relations. It's kind of a conflict of interests, overseeing wrestlers' job satisfaction while also being in charge of how those wrestlers are booked, kind of linked. Usually you want to keep those two roles very separate so talent wouldn't worry that raising concerns about the workplace could affect their on-screen push in the company. But that's a worryingly toxic dynamic for the future. Now it's time to just be happy that change has happened. In the meeting, Triple H promised the roster transparency, which he felt was missing from the previous regime. Apparently the opportunities to speak to Vince face-to-face had dwindled over the years. Hunter wants to fix that with open lines of communication between himself and talent. And most importantly, he wants work to be fun. Following the meeting, Fightful wrote there's a lot of optimism from the wrestlers about Triple H taking over creative. So optimistic, in fact, they're even talking about it in interviews. Speaking to The Mirror, Liv Morgan described how shocked the locker room was when Vince decided he'd accomplished all he could in wrestling and retired for a well-earned break. Slash was being investigated for covering up at least 4 counts of sexual misconduct within WWE, but spoke very positively of the new regime. We're very excited to be working with Stephanie and Nick Khan. Stephanie was born into this business, so there's literally no one better for the job than her. We're all so excited and we're just ready to go to work. We're all just ready to take it to the next level. That feeling of hope doesn't just stop at the WWE locker room door though. According to Fightful, the ramifications of Vince resigning has spread through the rest of the wrestling world. One of the worst facets of Vince McMahon was how fixed his perception of what a top pro wrestler should look like. Tall, muscular, handsome, no tattoos. This meant scores of independent wrestlers over the years would never stand a chance in WWE, as Vince would never really see them as a top guy no matter how good they were. Even seeming exceptions to the rule like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson didn't really work. Punk left the company because he felt he wasn't being pushed enough, and Danielson never really got serious runs with the top title. But with Triple H, the creator of the black and gold NXT, the other forbidden door now seems wide open. Through his time running NXT, Triple H, to his enormous credit, changed how he saw professional wrestling. He gave opportunities to wrestlers who would never fit Vince's top guy mold, like Aleister Black, Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and Keith Lee, while embracing a modern style of wrestling. Darby Allin, for instance, has said in interviews he would never even consider going to WWE because he knows he wouldn't get a fair push there. But now Triple H is in charge of the main roster creative, Fightful Select is reporting that many wrestlers outside WWE are now interested in going to the company. Talking to various talent who have left WWE dating back to 2016, they noted how different things would be if Triple H was in control earlier. Several former NXT talent said if he was in charge back then, they believe they wouldn't have been released by the company. Shockingly, one unnamed current AEW star told the site, "I'm glad that I went to AEW, but if I was graduating to a Triple H-led SmackDown or Raw, I probably would have re-signed with WWE before my deal was up." Fightful also mentioned that the chances of a top free agent returning to WWE after previously leaving the company has greatly increased now Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are running creative. Two names immediately popped to my mind on who that might be: either Johnny Gargano, whose NXT contract expired last December, and Bray Wyatt, who was released by WWE last July. Apparently, over 20 former WWE talent spoke to Fightful, saying how much better suited Triple H is to run creative than Vince McMahon. While Tony Khan jokingly celebrated becoming the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling upon Vince resigning, the ensuing WWE shakeup might be the biggest existential threat to AEW since the initial wars. Back then, Triple H's NXT was defeated. We thought he was in the doghouse after that, squandering his chance to one day get the top job. But then, because of crazy circumstance, Hunter has returned to fight AEW in round 2. This time with the full might of the WWE main roster, presumably much better and more consistent booking, and ironically giving disgruntled AEW stars like MJF, Brian Cage, Jonathan Gresham, Cody Rhodes is already there, a hugely appealing alternative place to work. And the tentative shot has already been fired. WrestleNomics is reporting that NXT will hold its next premium live event on the 4th of September, the exact same time as AEW's All Out pay-per-view. This is also the day after WWE's Clash at the Castle event in the United Kingdom. There's speculation that NXT show could take place in the UK too. Tony Khan is a smart guy. He's aware that this new WWE could potentially be a far bigger threat to AEW. NBC Sports Boston asked him if Triple H and Stephanie would be more open to doing a crossover show with AEW, to which he cagily replied, "I'm not sure if that's the case, but I would certainly be open to talk to pretty much any wrestling promotion in the world about how to work together if the circumstances are right." While AEW barely put a foot wrong for 2.5 years, 2022 has seen a shift in perception of the promotion. First, wrestlers like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn and AJ Styles all decided to stay with WWE. Cody Rhodes actively left AEW. The MJF unhappiness situation exploded, and now there's reports that ROH AEW integration is not going well, with Tully Blanchard seemingly done, Jonathan Gresham asking for his release, and now the other member of their Enterprises faction, Brian Cage, confirming his backstage heat at K&S WrestleFest. After his wife publicly complained about Cage not being booked on AEW last year, he revealed, "It's about certain people backstage in AEW who don't like me there that pointed that tweet out and brought that heat to me intentionally. Certain individuals there made it a big deal." Both AEW and WWE also have a huge host of injuries. Maybe an off-season is the way to fix it. Watch on to find out more.
Should wrestling have an off-season? The question might make some of you watching scoff at the mere idea of it. Wrestling doesn't stop. That's one of its main attractions, I can hear you say. And you're right, wrestling as a piece of media is entirely unique, and not just for that reason, which to some might be an incredibly enticing aspect of it.